Hello, I'm back again. Today is no openings. Actually, this is going to be my first deck tech. It's just a casual deck. At the moment, we're joined by my very first Pokemon tin I ever got. I thought it'd be fitting to go with my very first deck tech. This is what I play with my friends in a cube. It's my casual blue control deck. It's quite notorious. I love this deck. Not only is it in my favourite Venser sleeves, but it runs some of my favourite cards. I'm very much a blue player. I like control, and I do play a lot of blue-red though. To start with, I think the first reason I built the deck was the fact that I got my hands on a foil Shackles. Vidalcan Shackles, the brilliant card, allows me to take my opponent's creatures if I control islands equal to or more than their power. Apart from Vidalcan Shackles, I only run one other artifact. That would happen to be a very notorious card. It is Sensei's Divining Top. This is the one I actually pulled. I bought a lot of Kamigawa, a lot of Champions, and a lot of Saviors, but unfortunately I only managed to get my hands on one of them. Moving on, this deck is very much a singleton deck. There isn't much else to it. There are, of course, certain replications, and I believe there are only 2 or 3 cards that show up twice. 4 cards, I believe. To start with, though, I have one Enclave Cryptologist for card draw, Curse Catcher for early game interruption. Here's one of my multiples, Sage of Epiter, 3 of them. I love this card. On top of the fact that it gets through with some early damage in a blue deck, it also sorts the top of my deck for me. Very much another reason why I built this deck. The second one is in here. This card here is because I pulled it, and I absolutely love it. It is Arayo Soratami Ascendant. It's the one that flips over and counters the first spell played by each opponent each turn. First off, since I don't have a Reliquary Tower, I have this Graceful Adept, also from Kamigawa. Just good there, no maximum hand size. In some games, I do get a lot of draw going off. I have 2 Guard Gomazoas, lovely card. I would prefer some Fog Banks, but the Jellyfish is just as good. Spiketail Drakeling, same reason, on top of the fact that it's a flyer. It's the Curse Catcher. Descendant of Soromaru is deck sorting, with huge amounts of cards in my hand. It is very helpful. I think the largest I've ever searched down my deck is 13 cards. I do have a couple of other coloured cards, so Andor cards from Eventide. I have a Murkfiend Delige, which is generally one of my finishes. Gives all my creatures +1/+1 and untaps them during their step, which allows for more card draw and more shenanigans. Dominus of Fealty. My first deck ever was a blue-red deck that included these, and ever since I've loved the card. It is amazing. It's better than a lot of other cards that steal things because it does take permanence and it happens every turn, unlike the Concrete Manticore. Deep Channel Mentor, another one of my finishes. It just makes all my blue creatures unblockable. Another double up here is Draining Whelk. I used to buy some Time Spiral stuff, old stock, and I got 2 of these, so I felt no better place to put them. They end up being great finishes since my fabled 6th land drop is my most fun. It pretty much enables me to win the game here. Unfortunately, quite a lot of the time I don't hit it because I am only running 22 lands. As I said, it's a casual deck. It's not built for ridiculous wins. Draining Whelks, I think the largest I've ever gotten one up to is a 11/11 flyer, and that pretty much ends the game at that late stage. I have a Japanese Guile. This guy is pretty much the main win condition. He is absolutely brutal. I only run about 11 counter spells, but he just gets off. As you can tell, I have a couple of Japanese cards. I switched them. I did have English cards of these, but I switched them out. I did that mainly because it's easier to trade away English cards to newer players. I got the Japanese cards here in the Jace vs Chandra Japanese deck. I was very lucky to get one. I believe I got the last one that was in stock in Nelson. All the ones in Christchurch went out in about a day or 2. Ancestral Vision. This is pretty much the Ancestral Recall remake, but you know, I've got to wait turns, but it's brilliant on turn 1 if I don't have a Sage. Stream of Unconsciousness, since I have a lot of wizards, this is pretty much just card draw and numbing the pain. One Ponder, which it took me a while to get, surprisingly. As you can tell, it's only an M12. Another favourite card of mine here is Pongify. It's won me a lot of games, and it's certainly helped me lose a couple of games in multiplayer as well. I have up one Arcane Denial. I'm looking for another one to stick into this deck because, being casual, I don't like being just an outright jerk. This allows for some brilliant card draw on both sides and helps propel the game a little. Overnize, of course we needed World of Warcraft reference. This is a brilliant card. I can't remember where I got this. I have never opened anything else in the Time Spiral set except Time Spiral. I must have traded for it at some point, but I can't remember. Now I have 3 counter spells, 1 from Tempest and 2 of the brilliant Japanese art by Jason Chan. I absolutely love these and I would love a lot more of them. I do run hard counters, but you know, Arcane Denials are more of a preference. Some defense in Thunderheads with Replication gives me some 3/3 defenders for a turn. Dream Fracture is the card here that I would like to switch out for that second Arcane Denial. I have 2 Logic Knots. As I said, you know, it's just a fun counterspell. Later on in the game, it allows me to just play around with my graveyard. A friend of mine will be running a graveyard-oriented deck, so this will help me keep him down, removing cards from my graveyard with Delve. Careful Consideration is in here for great card draw. It also allows me to dump some stuff off at the pool that I don't like. My wrath of this deck is Leyline of Singularity. Ironic that, but I've actually brought it in a game and way on. I think there was about 3 cards left in either of our decks, and I brought this in and blew up pretty much his entire board of Clerics. On top of that, some more expensive cards. I have Desertion here, great counter spell, and it's even better when it turns into a Gather Specimens, taking other people's creatures and artifacts. Volition Reigns, I would run a Mind Control, but permanents for this deck are a lot more interesting than having more creatures, and the fact that, you know, I can fetch this up is a lot nicer. I am looking for a Merchant Scroll for this deck, and I'll come to that a bit later. I have one non-basic land, which is a Moonring Island. It's just there, so it allows me to keep control of what my opponents are doing. So that's one. I have 21 islands on top of that. They consist mainly of my favourite artwork ones. As you can tell, the only foils in this deck are in fact my Vidalcan Shackles. I do have foils of a couple of other cards, but I do like it that being the Shackles the only foil, it revolves around them. I'm 2 cards short. Aeon Chronicler here is a placeholder, and I hate to say that because it is a brilliant card. Hopefully soon I'll be getting a Teferi, the original, from Time Spiral. And I also have a Turn to Frog here. It is just an awesome card. It's pretty much, you know, what Overnize is, except it's, you know, a newer print. Unfortunately, I believe I'm trying to replace Turn to Frog with another counterspell or another Arcane Denial. But that's sort of second on the list to the Dream Fracture going. That's pretty much my deck. Those who are watching it and have played this deck know that it is fun for me to play and I love it. They obviously don't love it as much as it can be crushing. It has some ridiculous draws, but other than that, yeah, thank you very much, and hopefully I'll star a few friends' decks on here at some point soon, considering that, you know, being in a cube we all help each other out. My box for this deck has actually gotten so worn that there is actually nothing on it. It became quite worn. I picked this up for $5 at Armageddon about 2 years ago. As you can tell, it was actually once a blue deck, but after time just got completely, well, wasted really. I do have other deck boxes, but this is being my first deck box and my favourite deck box. I keep my favourite deck in there. Again, thank you very much, and watch out for some more videos.